it is my... You might notice the X at the end of my stream number, because this is the second attempt at streaming today. It is not my ISP. I am at this point convinced that I am being hacked by the Eggman Empire directly, because I've, in so many different unique ways, lost my game, or lost the stream, at the end of the run due to things that had nothing to do with my skill as a player. We're gonna play Sonic on Master System today. I got all the way to Robotnik, and then my house has some kind of power thing going on. I called an electrician. So if you see here, this is what the Master System cartridge looks like if you're not familiar with it, those in chat. And they went through this weird... If you've never seen this before, a lot of electronics in Japan have this nice red-maroon theme to them, or coloring. Here, when they remade the Sega Mark III into the Master System for the Western market, they added this maroon theme that wasn't even in the Japanese version. And if you look at the Japanese equivalent of the Master System, it actually looks like something that should have come out maybe 5 or 10 years earlier. It looks like something that should have come out... It looks kind of like the Intellivision 2, weirdly enough. So, we are going to go for it again. And this should be my fastest run of Sonic on the... Well, first, I have to... Even though it's purely for... No, here we go. Even though it is purely for no practical purpose, I do need to go ahead and add the X at the end of the stream number. Oh, wrong one there. There we go. Now, I don't know if you've seen me play the Master System version of Sonic before. Yeah, I don't know. It's like this weird thing going on with Master System where I feel like Sega was somehow trying to make the most between the box art for a lot of the games, especially there. It's like this graph paper kind of theming. It's like they're trying to make the world's most generic video game system. Now, I don't know how familiar are you with Master System, Kyle? I don't think we ever talked about Master System much before. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry I haven't been able to make it to your stream. I saw you were streaming with your streaming some more Lego with your partner in crime. But yeah, I don't know. Have you been in a Sonic stream before? I know you've been in a couple of Mario Party ones. But yeah, so this should be my fastest go at this yet. I know last time was definitely, in terms of performance, my best run yet at Sonic for Master System. This is actually my third, really fourth time playing it. I played it earlier today before I went on stream. Oh, doggone. Let's restart. Because I should not have. You're in the video for the Game Gear stream. Now, so now we're doing the Master System one. A lot more screen real estate here. Just similar enough that it seems like the game I've always known, but it's just enough to weird me out. It's like slipping into the parallel universe, where it's it's familiar, but it's just so slightly different. It makes you feel a bit off. My muscle memory definitely is off. Now this is the original, the Master System version is the original version of this game that Yuzo Koshiro and Ancient made. And then when it was... Yeah, they made it for Master System, and then they made the Game Gear version. Oh, you were here for... were you here for Sonic 2 on Game... Oh my gosh. I'm not letting that happen third time. That is... I don't know why... yes, I'm back. I had a power outage in my house. You see that, yeah. I've had a power outage in my house, and I had to call an electrician. They're not here yet, but by shutting off some of the other things, we got the power back on. That's what matters. Yeah, Sonic 2. Have you seen... Well, actually, since we've already restarted a couple of times anyway, let's play through... Well, let's have some fun. Let's play through... I've got to switch to my Game Gear frame because the system is blocked. It's all blocked differently. I wasn't ready to go into Game Gear today. And let's play through the first... Let's play through the first stage of the Game Gear version, which is the one I grew up with. Look, you see the Sonic, the Sonic is on much bigger on the screen here. Things in general are much bigger on the screen. Now, it's going to seem weird for... Now, in the Sonic movie, when they showed the beginning part where they're in Sonic's world, the image of Sonic's world is actually... You see how... Look how much smaller how much less screen real estate we have. Sonic doesn't have a nose. And so this is... What you're seeing here is what I saw the first time I played my first ever video game, and it's running on my actual childhood cartridge here, which I love a lot. Now, we're going to play through the first stage of this version, and then switch back to the Master System version. You can see all the changes they made. They made the Master System version is the first version they made, and then they made when they made the Game Gear version, they polished a few things, but they adapted the layouts for the stages to play better on this. It's not that the screen is physically smaller, but the aspect ratio is also different. Now, let's switch back to what we're going to be playing primarily today. I didn't even update the stream number. It's still showing my stream from a few days ago when I was streaming. There we go. Now we're going to go back. We're going to play the Master System version. You can see kind of the difference between the two versions. Now, with the Game Gear, I did have that frame. You can see how much smaller it looks on screen, the Sonic emblem there. And this is the version I have the sort of muscle memory for now, because I'm used to it. Now, the Master System version, part of the reason I have this TV frame up there, well, the Game Gear version, the Game Gear adds to like the feel of playing it on a real Game Gear. But part of the reason I added the frame of this old TV is because, let's see if I can find it here in my layout. Yeah, check this out. There's a huge loading seam on the left and on the bottom, similar to how Mario Bros. 3 works, where you can see part of the graphics loading in. And that's not a glitch, that's just how the game works. And here, what they usually do in Master System games is cover it over with one of the colors that's currently being used. So you don't have to waste a color on it. And so it blocks out the loading seam. And that's just how most Master System games work. But a lot of that would have been covered by the curvature of a period CRT tube television. So you can see, you have more screen space. They made appears much smaller on screen, and the layout kind of accommodates that. One thing that definitely changed is the special stages. We still have our invincibility spikes. Yeah, if they didn't have that there, you probably would have seen parts of the graphics loading in, sort of like Mario Bros. 3 and Kirby's Adventure. Oh, yeah, okay, I'm glad I made that. Now, we have 50 rings here. We don't want to get more than 100, because if you get more than 99, our ring total will... Hey, Clackaboy, welcome back. I had electrical problems in the house where I couldn't get so I couldn't even post a message saying, like, oh, I'll be back in a minute. But we're back, and we are going to beat this time. I've lost so many runs between both the Game Gear and the Master System version. I've lost so many runs to weird technical things happening. We're gonna beat the Master System version, and then we're gonna now, for example, I should have did this. Now on the Game Gear version, all the springs are purple. In the Master System version, we have purple springs, yellow springs, and green springs. The purple springs bounce to the lowest height. Yellow is in between, I think, and green bounces to the highest. So, we have variable bounces. You have to actually plan which springs you're going to land on in order to successfully navigate to the bonus prizes that we want to get in this special stage. What we want to get... No, it's the green one that bounces you extra high. You want to get over here. Come on. There we go. We got the continue. We got all the way to Robotnik, and I was learning his patterns, because the final Robotnik... the hazards and traps in the final Robotnik battle work a little differently than in the Game Gear version. So I was learning that, and in the middle of learning that... Oh, come on. Do not... Okay. Oh, come on. No, we're not... Okay, if I lost that, I would have had to restart, because this is the easiest of the of the bonus stages. The bonus stages in general are much harder in the game, in the Master System version as opposed to the Game Gear version. And after we beat this, we are going to play the 16-bit version, which I got that cartridge from a game store before all this virus nonsense happened, and it was the first time I owned a cartridge of Sonic for Sega Genesis. Yeah, well, it's not unfathomable. It's really hard. The bonus stages are much harder. I actually have to work for it this time. In the Game Gear version, they practically give it away. In this one, you do have to focus a bit, and it does depend a bit on, luck and properly navigating the hazards. I was on the way to getting 100% all Chaos Emeralds, because the Jungle Zone Chaos Emerald is it's not the easiest thing in the world to grab in this version. The others are all very easy to collect. But once I got that jungle one, I was like, oh boy, we're on the way to, okay, there's our first Chaos Emerald. I'm just going to grab that. Because in this version, the Chaos Emeralds are hidden within the stages themselves. So, I'd like to thank, I know Kyle TX 500 wasn't here before, but Thundex is back quite graciously. After the last stream unexpectedly ended, so I appended the stream number with an X, as you see down there. Which, I had to figure out what I'm going to do, because this is technically a different stream than one earlier, so I will append it with an X. Not that anyone has yet figured out what my stream number actually means, but it is something I cared about enough to have figured out. Okay, this is technically not a new stream, it's kind of a replacement stream. So I went ahead and added an X to it. So this is stream number 201891X. And then tomorrow we'll resume our normal. Now I'm not even going to try for 100 rings. It's not easy to do, and I do need all the time I can get. Okay. Okay. Oh, this is not easy. Okay, we're good, we're good. We have to use the yellow spring here. There we go. There we go. Now you have to continue on. Now if we can get, we have to get the extra life here. And we do need, okay, we're good, we're good. Now if this is the Game Gear version, yeah, we've had a couple of people in stream try to figure out what the stream numbers mean, because obviously I've not streamed that many times. So the stream number means something different that no one's quite figured out yet. But, so I got the extra life and the 1-up. And by this point, they only display up to 9. Now, these Robotnik stages, unlike in the 16-bit original version, where the third act of each zone is a full-fledged stage, and then you fight Robotnik at the end, in this version, it's nothing but the lead-up to the Robotnik fight. And you see I collected a 1-up there. There are no rings in these boss fights, so I have a shield that I can carry. You are allowed to carry shields between stages and even between zones. But because there are no rings, unless you do bring a shield in from a previous stage, you have to do this as a perfect no-hit run. Now, in the Game Gear version, you could I would have beaten Robotnik by now, because you could jump up and hit him due to the screen crunch. So you can just easily... Oh, wow, that is very rare to be able to hit him. That is a frame-perfect trick, something actually speedrunners put a lot of time into being able to pull off, to hit him when he's not swooping down at you. And he has no wrecking ball, so we could really only damage each other while he's swooping down at me. Now imagine, from the perspective of someone who played this version first, like me, and then saw the Genesis version where he has the wrecking ball, and before he drops the wrecking ball and starts swinging it, he sort of looks at the camera and, like, snickers at you. So my perspective on that was that I'm playing the Genesis version after this, so it's like, oh, he knows. He's, like, aware of the Game Gear version, so he's like, oh, I came prepared this time, I have a big wrecking ball I'm gonna swing at you, so... And in the manual for the translated manual for the Japanese version of this game, it implies that Sonic has already survived many battles against Dr. Eggman. And it says, Robotnik is always making evil schemes and trying to collect the Chaos Emeralds to build nuclear weapons. And Sonic always finds a way to stop him. And this is just, the Genesis version, it says this is just the latest of his evil schemes that Sonic has stopped. So with that sort of backstory, him sort of snickering at the camera and dropping the wrecking ball like, oh, I came ready for you this time, Sonic, it kind of makes sense. And you can even make it, I have maybe a bit of a headcanon that maybe this 8-bit version is the first time Sonic battled Robotnik, and then the 16-bit version is actually a sequel to this, chronologically. But in terms of in real life, this is actually the second Sonic game ever made. And as you can see, we are not in Marble Zone, we are in Bridge Zone. And Uzo Koshiro actually developed he made an 8-bit remix of the Marble Zone theme, but I guess they decided that Marble Zone with all its traps and the lava flowing and everything, I guess they decided that it wasn't a good fit for what this hardware was capable of. And what you have instead, so they decided to play to the strengths of the system and create an entirely new zone. Oh! Okay, that was embarrassing. But that right there, that's part of me being used to the Game Gear version, because the Game Gear version has a solid bridge at that spot. It doesn't open up to a hazard where you could fall into the bottomless pit there. Well, it's funny because we later will go into Labyrinth Zone, which is mostly underwater, and that zone implies that Sonic is able to swim. He doesn't swim, he sort of walks underwater. So it's kind of funny that you'd think maybe these waters are too rough for Sonic to swim in. That's how we'll excuse that logic. These waters are too tough for Sonic to swim in. Now, last time I was streaming this under Retro. This time I'm streaming it under Sonic the Hedgehog. There's no unique category for the 8-bit versions of this game, so we're just streaming under Sonic the Hedgehog. So maybe we'll get some Sonic fans in the stream with us, just sort of wandering upon this. There's the second Chaos Emerald. So we've got 2 out of 6 so far. The only really tricky Chaos Emerald to get is the Jungle Zone Chaos Emerald. And once we collect that, we're pretty much in the clear for a 100% run. And I already talked a bit about this Thundex, but for you, Kyle, if you're still on stream, in the 16-bit version of Sonic the Hedgehog, when you get all the Chaos Emeralds, Sonic just kind of jumps it up towards the camera, you know, and it has a big and large sort of sprite of him, you know, giving a thumbs up, or like that, like, finger wag pose he does, or something like that. But the 8-bit version, and I'm glad I didn't spoil the ending last time, but in the 8-bit version, we have a much better ending, in my opinion, an ending that better fits in with the themes of Sonic the Hedgehog. And I was talking about this in the last, I'm not having any drop frames. I think it's your phone connection, because there are no dropped frames on my end. So it may be your mobile connection, Kalakaboy. Thanks for showing up, by the way, for a second attempt at this. After the problems we had earlier were due to my electricity. It had nothing to do with the connection. Actually, I did a test broadcast earlier today just to make sure everything was going to go smoothly. And I was getting skipped frames, not dropped frames, but skipped frames. So I'm like, okay, so it's not on my connection, but it's because I was going to try to do some practice runs on this, and I was going to try to record as I was doing so. So I just have some B-roll without my streaming layout visible with the TV and the game box art and my webcam. I just want to have some raw footage to use for future projects, whether that ends up being on YouTube. Well, probably on YouTube, frankly. And I was getting skipped frames because I was running my plain video capture software, not the broadcast software, just the capture software, and OBS, where I was streaming to my burner account that I was doing for the test broadcast, where I was just broadcasting a test pattern just make sure I wasn't getting any dropped frame alerts. And then I was getting skipped frames instead of dropped frames. And what I realized was I was running Folding at Home, because on Folding at Home you could actually there's an option where you could help run simulations of the virus that causes COVID-19. Okay, what I understand is that the virus is called SARS-CoV-2, and then the illness that virus causes is COVID-19. So that's so you can actually do folding simulations of the SARS-CoV-2 virus in order to help researchers. Okay, now I need to use the purple spring down here to jump over that. I don't want to hit that purple spring up there because that'll send me into the crazy zone. Okay, we're good. All I have to do is get to the end. No way we're gonna get 100 rings on top of that. Almost got it though. I got it to 83, but we got a 1-up and a continue. So we got 9. It only displays up to 9 lives on screen at once, but as you can see, we have a maximum of 11 lives. A lot of like Super Mario Brothers does a similar thing, where if you get more than a certain number of lives, it'll actually start displaying different parts of the stored game's graphics to represent the numbers. Okay. There's our extra life. Last time we took a death to Robotnik, we already lost a no single credit run. Not that we're seriously trying for that, but okay. Now, if you stand on there till the last moment, you can trick him into shooting the bullets in the wrong direction. Now, the bridge zone boss in the Game Gear version is much easier because there's no bottomless pit. There's just a bridge, and there are 2 different spots where Sonic can stand and safely avoid Robotnik's bullets. But here it's a little trickier, but there is still a way you can trick him into firing the bullets the wrong way. And all you have to worry about is not falling into the water. Ooh! I jumped the gun there. I didn't stay there long enough. So I already lost 1 credit to Robotnik. Okay. And I just like to say, this version of the boss music I like much more than the Genesis one. The Genesis one's kind of more of a menacing ambiance. This one's very melody-driven, and I think it's more energetic. You know, maybe, yeah, I could see it's nice, ominous, imposing, the Genesis version, but this is like really energetic. Like, oh, here he comes, he's out to get you. Here he comes, he's out to get you. I can make up some fake lyrics for this. But, oh, okay, that was foolish. And the reason I took that loss was because I was thinking of lyrics for the freaking Robotnik boss fight music. Okay. Alright. The evil Meister, Dr. Robotnik. You fight with him and you'll be in for a shock, Nick. Okay, that's all the lyrics I could come up with. That was bad enough as it was. If I had more, that would just make it worse and worse, so... Yeah, there we go. Alright, we're getting him this time. We're getting him this time. Not the easiest thing in the world. Now, these are not speedrun strats. I'm playing as safely as possible. If I were to play speedrun strats, I could get in maybe 2... I mean, I've seen Fozon. He streams a lot of Sonic on Master System. And Master System, what they call the trilogy, Sonic for this Sonic game, Sonic 2, and Sonic Chaos. But in the... what was it? Yeah, Fozon. He streams this. He's one of the only people that I've seen really regularly stream this. He's focusing on 16-bit Sonic right now for for real-time attack speedruns. And now we have another unique zone here that's different from what you find on the Genesis version. We have Jungle Zone, which, given the themes of Sonic about the forests and the jungles of Sonic's world and how Robotnik's trying to replace them with his factories. It's a very well-fitting zone here. It's original music, of course, since this zone doesn't exist at all on the Genesis. Alright, we're gonna keep moving onward. I know where to get the Chaos Emerald at. Oh, Tundex, excuse me. Okay, that's the thing, I'm encountering, I'm saying these names, well, first off, I'm just glancing at the chat so I'm saying Thundex, it's Tundex. So I see, before you were streaming as Tundex, now it's Tundex Plays. Did you change your name, or is this a different account? Just curious. I meant to ask that, I just never actually asked. Yeah, if I mess up your screen name, let me know. Or if your screen name's one thing, but you just casually like to be called something else, you could let me know about that as well. Oh, you just changed it. Okay. Because I could still see... Oh, so Tundex Plays, is that implying that you're... No, I didn't get to take a look at your account. I was too busy trying to solve the power issues on my end. Oh, no! Doggone. Alright, we'll see if we could recover from that, but that may cost us our run, our ability to make it to the special stage. But we already made up back half the rings, because we need 50. We're up to 26. Oh, you have been streaming a bit. Okay, I'll definitely, oh, doggone. It's a tricky, that is a tricky jump right there. That's actually what I did. I decided on a lark, kind of, to go for, but I know I could get at least 26 rings, so we have a good chance, because that's about where I took the hit before. I need to take a look at the at your channel and check out. So what kind of stuff do you stream? I've made it to I've earned the right to apply for affiliate, but I don't want to open up for paid subscriptions until I have until I find an artist who could commission for some cool icons and some, you know, subscriber badges. Because I'd feel real awful if someone were to pay for a subscription and I don't have any emotes ready for them to use. So once I get that sorted out, I'll go ahead and apply. Yeah, mind you, the way... And plus, I was having a lot of technical problems with my streams, so I didn't want to risk having someone subscribe and then I wasn't able to... But the problems were solved. I was having problems with my internet connection. I had to pay to upgrade my internet. Oh no! Well, at least I got credit for collecting the emerald, so I don't have to do that again. But I do have to hit the box, and we have 9 or more lives. So you're a variety streamer. What have you been streaming lately? Because in my first month or two of streaming, I've really been streaming the same handful of games over and over while I get all the kinks out. And now that at this point I feel pretty confident. Yeah, today was kind of a fluke that the stream went down, but I'm not having problems with dropped frames making the stream unviewable, unwatchable for the viewers, or problems with disconnections and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll have to go on Fiverr or someplace and check out who's available. I want to get some doorworm icons, the little snake-like things that are all over the artwork that I use for my YouTube and Twitch stuff. Okay, we hit the next checkpoint, but if we... Okay, we just got to get to the end. We're not using any more credits on this. Oh, Rhythm Heaven Fever. That wasn't that for the Wii? That was the one for the Wii, right? I never played it, but I remember seeing video of it and some of the memes that were going around. I'm got it together. This coming week. I still haven't looked at my schedule, but I'm gonna try to see if I could find a way to stream 4 times a week, which would, well, up to 4 times. Because depending on my schedules, I could do at least one nighttime stream, one late night stream where I'd probably start streaming at 10, and then I could do at least 2 daytime streams because I have to. Oh, you have a constant user play. Okay, cool. Oh, so that's what you do? You're a music you're a music teacher, okay. Okay, now here, what we have here, if you've never seen this before, this is the Forerunner to Sonic Spinball. We have because I can control Sonic, and I could use the flippers to maneuver him around. Okay, we got the continue. Now we just got to get the 1-up. Okay, we got the continue, we got the 1-up. Everything else is just gravy on top. There we go. Man, I haven't had good mashed potatoes and gravy in a long time. That's one of my favorite comfort foods. Some mashed potatoes and gravy and some mac and cheese. Oh boy, I gotta do that for myself sometime. Even if it's Kraft mac and cheese. I mean, obviously that's like I mean, isn't it funny? I mean, even the lowest tier of mac and cheese, like that instant Kraft dinner stuff, even that's a major comfort food for me because it's really kind of nostalgic when I was a kid. You always see those commercials. Okay, now this level uses Kid Icarus logic, which means once something scrolls off screen, it no longer exists. I cannot jump back down to that platform. I will die. It will treat it as though I've fallen to my death. So, there's the ground. Goodbye, ground. That ground no longer exists in Sonic's world. And he will die. So, that's a little ridiculous. It's a lot ridiculous. In the Game Gear version, they fixed it. Partially due to just to deal with the screen crunch, making it fairer. A lot of RAM for 8-bit. A lot of RAM in terms of like what, my computer, or like I'm not sure what you meant by RAM, so excuse me. No, before, it's not that I'm put off or anything. Oh, put off. That's such a, I hate that phrase really when other people use it, but it's not that I became quiet. I'm not offended or anything. I just want to wait till I have a clear idea. Oh, yeah. This is not due to technical issues. This is simply, this was literally just a design choice, because on the Game Gear version of this title, you are able to scroll down. And so they just decided just to increase the, they decided for the sake of challenge not to let you be able to scroll down. Ooh, there we go. If you're not careful, you can get hit by that spring. Okay. Because in the Game Gear version, you're allowed to scroll down. I think that was a way to make it fair with the smaller visible area of the playfield. Yeah, okay. No, because it's just I could perceive how I'm talking, all of a sudden I'm quiet. And it's like, uh-oh. Yeah, I'm playing this. I was lucky enough to be able to get an Analog Mega SG. So when I played the Game Gear version, this is actually my childhood cartridge. This is actually the first proper video game I ever played. And actually was the first time I played Sonic on Game Gear. Was the first my parents gave it to me to keep me occupied as I was getting my hair braided for the first time back in '91. So I started playing the games the same day I got my hair braided the first time. And that's cool. And here I have my Sonic for Master System cartridge in there. I had to import it from the UK. Most of that was just the shipping fees. You have a hidden extra credit down there. Most of that was just the shipping fees, because the Master System version of this was actually the last game that they released in North America for the Master System. But in Europe and in South America, the Master System was still going very strong. So I guess kind of just as a swan song for the Master System, they released this 8-bit game in limited quantities. And actually, for those who've played this on any of the various Sonic collections on the GameCube and PlayStation 2, if you played the 8-bit Sonic 1 on, hey, you gotta run, hey, I'll see you around, thanks for stopping in, I'm glad you could see most of Sonic for, if you want to see the rest. After this, I'm just going to go ahead and play the Genesis version, which I'm not that familiar with. So I'll see you around, thanks for dropping in, not once, but twice, and I will follow you and check out your streams, check out whatever VODs you have up, and hopefully I can catch you live sometime. Ooh, okay, that was close. Okay, first time I ever beat this on, it's the first time I ever beat this with a single credit. I beat the Master System version of Jungle Robotnik. Jungle Robotnik, Jungle Zone Robotnik. Jungle Robotnik sounds like a parallel universe Robotnik, where instead of a scientist, he's some kind of jungle warrior or something. Okay, now we're in Labyrinth. We took we lost a few credits in Labyrinth earlier today, but this time we're gonna beat it with 1 credit. We'll see if the game lets us. Sometimes it's really stingy with handing out the air bubbles. Even if you stand at the spot, sometimes it just takes forever for them to spawn. I don't know if it's some kind of weird programming oversight or if it's just bad RNG or what, but I may take last time I did not take a single drowning death. I was perhaps maybe 1 frame away from taking a drowning death, but I was lucky. I got on I think the last possible frame. I am going to replenish my air here, because I don't like how long I was... Oh, I didn't... Okay, I almost got hit by those spikes. Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna keep on moving. Yep, 5. Why did I go for... I shouldn't have wasted time going for that. Because I already have a shield, and if I lose my shield here, I could have went back and replenished it. Like 70 or 80% of the time I got hit by that spike was just... These spikes are purely just because of me being impatient, trying to get past them. Because that's the real trick to them. They're not really dangerous. The danger is you trying to jump prematurely in order to get to the next air bubble. Come on. Load me up, baby. Load it. Load. Give me an air bubble. Give me air bubble. Air bubble. There we go. That's what I want to see. Now there's a doggone Orbinaut here. My least favorite. Come on. I want to trigger him into wasting his... There we go. That's what we like to see. And we're just going to go ahead and let them pass safely by. And when we go back up, he's going to be unarmed. He's going to be pretty harmless. We can just roll into him. Now, there we go. Almost lost my momentum to crash into him at the proper speed to defeat him. Now, and I mentioned this before when I was playing, but in the Archie Comics Sonic series, very early on, there was a comic where I think it was loosely based on the idea of Casino Night Zone, where Robotnik, Sonic goes to a casino run by Robotnik, and in doing so, okay, there we go. You don't want to get hit by that spike ball. And while he encounters Orbinaut, which is hyped up, now here we have a ring. We're just gonna hit that switch and turn that into a 1-up, which I will very gladly collect. Now I never played an online game to the point where I had like a crew and we meet up at a certain time. So 147400. Now, at this point, the bonus stages start repeating themselves. And what we actually have here is... There we go. What we have here is the first bonus stage with additional hazards added in the form of those breakout style panels that actually helped me there. 95, 8, 99, 100. There we go. You got the extra life from 100 rings, and we got the continue. So we're doing great so far. We've lost far fewer lives than we have at this equivalent point in today's earlier run-through. Stay hydrated. Alright. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and... Now, there's a little alcove I could jump up into. There... Oh! Okay. I'm not going all the way through here. I just want to go and grab a couple of rings. So that if... Well, actually, let me grab all these rings since I'm all the way up here. Now, if I had no shield, I could go get the shield. But I just want to have rings, so if in case I lose my shield, I still have rings to protect me. Okay. There we go. Now, if I don't mess this up, I should be safe. I should come here, and yep, there it is. So we're gonna make it to the left, and there's a spiked ball. I'm not going to jump straight down. I'm going to be careful. There we go. That's what we like to see. Yeah. And there's the next. And we're just in time to make it over the spike without waiting. I have enough room to jump over it, but I just want to be extra safe. And we make it to the check mark, the checkpoint. And we've already got a half the rings we need. Okay, I'm not worried. There's a... Ooh, there we go. We got it. And I just... Oh, that's... Oh, come on, Bubble. Come on. There we go. Now, there are times where I've had to wait there until the very last frame. I mean, there are times I've lost lives due to I've reached the air bubble safely in time, but it just did not spawn in time and I lost a credit. But, okay, we're gonna go up. Now, in the Game Gear version, they actually added a robot right here. The kind that kind of reminded me of Grounder from Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. No. Ooh, that stinks. That stinks, but that's not so bad. If I took my time and just jumped through... Now, right there, that sucks because I just basically lost my... Oh, no! I lost my rings. I lost my... But what I'm coming here for is this invincibility box. Now, I need this to get the Chaos Emerald, because they did something really cool where you have to damage... You have to use the invincibility to phase through some spikes in order to collect the emerald. There we go, we got it. And the Game Gear version, for some reason, they just give it to you. It's in plain sight. They didn't try to recreate that cool sort of puzzly type thing. Alright, so we lost out on getting to go to the bonus stage. But if we get through... I lost a lot of credits in my first run here, but if we're able to get through without... If we're able to get through here without losing any more credits, I'll be pretty happy. Now, okay. We're gonna keep moving. And then this is the second... Now, if I had my shield, I'd go through to the left. There are lots of spikes in the way. But there are lots of places where they basically... Excuse me, I just want to adjust my broadcast software slightly. There we go, that's more like it. Okay. Now, if I had a shield, I'd risk going through the spikes. Now, this Robotnik fight, if you do the right thing, you won't get hit, which is true of every boss fight in the history of video games. But I found a particular positioning and patterns where I really have minimal chance of getting hit. I think it's on a cycle type thing. If where I enter the fight on a certain frame, it'll change the timing of exactly how he acts. So, okay. It's very hairy there, because you have to... What I'm going to do, I'm going to stand on the left until he fires the torpedo, and I can trick him into firing the torpedo in a direction where I'm not facing, so I have nothing to really worry about here. Now I have to duck and jump very quickly. Now I only have a chance to hit him once here. This is not real-time attack speedrun strats, but these do let me, with a high degree of reliability, be able to dodge all his projectiles. The Game Gear version is much easier, due to the... Oh no, I was supposed to duck there. I was too busy running my mouth. But we're still doing good. If that's the only credit we lose here, we're gonna do much better than earlier today when I was playing. This is my second attempt at beating this. We're on track. We are pretty much guaranteed, unless I somehow lose all my lives to the last Robotnik battle. This right here, this is my last. This is the last hazard I have. Once I get through this, the next 3 stages, I'm pretty much guaranteed not to lose a single credit. So I'm not really worried. So once I get through here, I'm not going to lose a single credit for at least 3 stages, unless I just absolutely suck and bungle this. But it shouldn't be a problem. I duck. I have to remember to duck. Okay. Very generous timing there. Sometimes it's much tighter. So we're gonna... Okay. Now, in the Game Gear version, when he launches those torpedoes, there's a little explosion sound effect. Here, they either forgot to add it in due to an oversight, or they just didn't think to add it in. So, ooh, that was... Usually I have more leeway there, but that was... Okay. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's if I enter the Robotnik fight in a certain frame, because that time usually I don't have a problem quite like that. And maybe I don't want to reinvent my strategy based on that freak instance, because normally they're not spaced so tightly that I have a situation like that. I just have to stay on this one side and jump each time the torpedo comes through. Oh, I jumped too early. I jumped too early. Okay. Alright, I jumped too early there. Oh, you know what? I just realized I never turned my light on. That's much better, isn't it? Yeah, night and day difference. I forgot to turn my filming light on because I really kind of wasn't expecting to film again. I didn't expect things to settle back down with the arrangement. Now that I'm not used to this, it seems like glaringly bright. But I have a lampshade over it. I'll show you my lampshade after I beat Robotnik. I'll show you the lampshade that I'm using. This is actually just an LED reading lamp that I have a lampshade for. Okay. That's the timing. That's how I want it to go. That's how I want it to go. Lots of space between dodging the torpedo and ducking. I don't know if it's just the particular frame after starting the stage that I enter the Robotnik fight on. That slightly... Oh my goodness. I think I need to adjust my... I don't know, and it could be a situation like Super Mario Bros. Where the enemy behavior is based on which frame I started the entire game on. In which case I'm a bit... You know, to create some kind of semi-random RNG thing. But if I... you know what? I'm gonna try a different spot. I'm gonna try a different spot to orient Sonic at. I'm gonna try here. Let's see how this goes. If he dodges the torpedo here... Oh, that might be a much better spot. That might be a much better spot. Or maybe it's a spot that just depends on what frame I'm on in terms of when I started the stage, or even when I started the entire game. Oh my! I can't reliably say what's going on right now. I just gotta find. I have to find a spot where I could jump over. I died a lot in this Robotnik fight the last time I played, but I did not have the problems you're seeing here. I think depending on which frame I start the game on. Okay, I know now that at the furthest point to the left, the bullet will miss. The bullets will miss. Now let's see how this works. Okay, that's much safer. I found the safe spot. I didn't think that would be a safe spot, because it was I think it was almost like an oversight in the Game Gear version, but apparently they actually did intend for this to be there. I mean, it can be seen as being cheap, but if you're clever enough to find it, is it really... Oh my... I don't want to... I don't know what's going on. I never lost this... I never had this problem here before. I had problems where I missed my timing, but it's like the game... It's like the rules of how this fight work changed compared to... Let's try this. Let's try here. Let's try here. Let's see how this goes. I mean, can I count on... That was good timing. That was favorable to me. And it seemed like I had the chance to safely hit him twice. That's the tricky part. He goes to the right, and he goes down. Either it's RNG, or I'm just getting a good pattern. That was risky going for that second hit, but I'm sick of seeing this screen. I love this music, but I'm not sick of hearing it. I just don't want to hear it anymore. Yeah, the music doesn't annoy me. I like the music, but I just... Okay. We're very deep into this, so I'm going to be a little more conservative with my attempts to damage him. Yeah, it seems like I'm having good luck right here, right now. Right at the edge. Yes, we got him. We got him. And we still have at least 9 lives. I don't think I, actually... Ooh, I'm so paranoid I'm gonna fall into that trench and lose the game after beating the boss. Because it's not over until you actually hit the actuator on top of the roboticizer. Because if you die before then, you still have to fight Robotnik over. We have 10 lives. We had probably like 15 or 16 lives. Now at this point, we're not going to lose another credit for at least 3 more stages. And for those familiar with the Genesis version, you might be wondering, well, we're at Scrap Brain. Once you beat Scrap Brain, what is left to lose? What stages are left? But we'll see. Now this is a very straightforward level. It is pretty, and there are actually even fewer enemies in this version than in the handheld version, and which is ironic given that the Game Gear version has a reputation among fans of this Master System version of being made too easy. But in Scrap Brain there are actually fewer enemies, so this is a little easier than in the handheld version on Game Gear. Oh, no, not. And here, all we have is just a switch to open the door. Oh my gosh, that was really reckless. I'm lucky I did not lose my rings there. Now, you cannot access the special stage from this point on. You can no longer access the special stage. So it's not really it's the only real risk. The only real reason to go after rings is if you're able to get 100 of them. And getting 100 will give you an extra life, which normally I don't really care about, but in these stages, so late in the game, we do, it's not, now this is the first, now the second 2 stages of Scrap Brain are a maze, and it's gonna look like I'm backtracking a lot, and maybe like I'm lost, but there's actually a specific pattern I have to go through here. I have the flamethrower. Oh. Now in the first stage, they put the roof high enough that you could walk under the flames. Here, this is, I guess, one of the trickier parts of the stage. In the Game Gear version, it's a lot easier. But it's very generous with letting you snap through the bottoms of the platforms. Ooh! Okay. That right there, that was me being used to the Game Gear version, where these flame jets are not a threat, because the ceiling is higher. But here they actually, as they probably should have, made the ceiling lower so that you could pass under these. You can't. You can pass under these. No, we have an extra life there. I'm going to go back and get that. Now, I have a branching path where you can go up or down. The correct path through this is to go down. If you go up, you end up having to come back and figure out another way through here. Now, we're going to go down. We're going to, for our first time we're coming through here, we're going to jump all the way to the bottom of this trench. It is not a bottomless pit. I really thought, the first time I was coming through here, I kind of expected that it would send me to my death, but instead what happens is it gets you back here to the one up. So we're going to go take the downward route again. And they actually added additional enemies in the handheld version. Oh no! Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. I did not do that last time. So I look like an amateur now. But I'd rather look like an amateur and redo this part of the game, or don't even lose a credit for failing, than end up in a situation where my stream ends due to reasons beyond my control. Okay, now in the Game Gear version, at this spot, right here where Sonic's standing here, there were actually an additional pig enemy. You'll see them there. Oh no, there they are. But here, on the right side there was an additional pig, but they didn't have them here. So it's funny, for as much of a reputation as this has, now I have to cross here. I can't cross it at walking pace. I have to be rolling at speed. Okay. I have to be rolling at speed. There we go. I just have to have just enough momentum to get over that gap. And when I'm falling, I cannot control Sonic's direction. So I wouldn't have been able to fall. And, excuse me, I guess got a mustache itched a bit. Now, if I were to have taken the top route, I would have ended up here. And I have this switch where I could jump on it, and jumping on the switch switches those two doors. And I wouldn't have been able to... Oh, hey, our four-legged friends always come first, and not dying from starvation, or being mildly uncomfortable due to lack of eating. There's no physical discomfort or furry friend that is worth, ignoring in order to catch my stream. We are in the scrap brain now. Now, I just went through... I'll explain this puzzle to you. I had to go through... See here? There's a branching path. If you go up, you end up coming in through the right to here, where there's a... Oh no. Okay, my power went out, but I'm back now. Excuse me. Yeah. Okay. It should be good now. I'll give it maybe a minute, as I wait, see if anyone shows back up. Because I had a few viewers, but we'll see if anyone shows back up, because once I set it to the timer for a minute, so I'll just give it a minute and see if anyone comes back, and whether anyone comes back or not, I'm gonna keep on going through this, and hopefully I could actually beat this game. If the power goes out again, the stream drops again, I'm not gonna try again. But it seems like I should at least be able to get through Sonic for Master System. Let me... Hold on, I just have to refresh my stream manager. So get a sense of... Okay. Alright, there we go. Alright. Yeah, it's my... an electrician is coming tomorrow. So basically what was going on is... there's a branching path, and you have to go around, and you end up coming through from the right on the lower part of. I'll pause it because I already wasted a lot of time. I mean, I'll beat this in within 5 minutes because I have up to 10 minutes. And so you're here with the switch, and you have to hit that switch without being an. Yeah, it's basically a one-way thing where you can only go through there if you come from the bottom and activate it in advance. Okay. The Caterpillar's in a slightly different spot than he is. Yeah, I don't... I'd rather have power outages that are limited to the house. I'd rather have that going... Yeah, that looked like a bottomless pit there, didn't it? But it's actually where the Chaos Emerald is hidden. And my okay, there it is. Broadcast software, something about, I don't know, my frame rate or something weird. I does not want to... I'm on the monitor I'm playing on. Oh, wait. I did not... Okay. I'm just so not used to seeing him actually launch the fireball that I was weirded out. I'm like, wait, where in the stage am I? Yeah, so, because, I guess to make up for the fact that the first part of this... The first act of the stage is basically just to acquaint you with some of the traps and elements that you'll see throughout the rest of Scrap Brain. The second two levels are a maze. So that one, I think each of these levels I spent more than a half hour on the first time I played through it on Game Gear. When I played on Master System, now look, we're back here. So if I went back up, I would have went through there and ended up where you saw me before. But now now we're back here, but it's part of the... Yeah, when I view it on the monitor, it is actually 100% viewable. It's only on the capture that it sort of struggles to exist. So you have to jump in that, what looks like a death pit. I believe this is where yeah, this is where now, if I was 100% certain and, like, actually counted... There we go. So we're basically done with the challenge portion of the stage in terms of navigation. Well, not quite, but now we are. Now we just have to avoid all the doggone traps. Ooh, that was close. That was real close, and I... Under no circuit... Yeah, as the difficulty in Scrap Brain, at least in this version, is really more around learning how to navigate it than the enemies and the traps. Now, in this hallway, in the Game Gear version, there were actually there was at least one Caterpillar. It might have even been two. And once again, look at this cityscape. Look at the skyscrapers, the factories, the lights in the buildings. You really get a sense that, hey, if you were a person living in the city, you'd be like, hey, you know, Robotnik's, he's doing pretty right by us. We've got this high-tech city. We have factories we have jobs and factories to work in. And he turned an uninhabited island into this, into this cool city for us on top of this mountain. Whereas, you're not seeing it from Sonic's point of view, where it's like, hey, okay, I have to focus here, because this is a maze. And I got through here. Yeah, it's some beautiful sprite work, and okay, so we have to go down, straight through, then we go down. This one's just for show, it doesn't actually light up like those other ones, so it's not a hazard, it's just for decoration. Straight down, then we go up. Up. We go up here. We go right, and the left, and the rings kind of guide us here. But a lot of the theming of Sonic, I've said this rant earlier today, so I'll say it again. Here we go. We're good now. There's a hazard there. A non-deadly hazard, I believe. Oh. The theming of the stage. Now, we're in Act 3, and at the end of Act 3, we face Robotnik. And... Oh, there he is! Go get him! He's unprotected. Oh, he's gone up in this elevator. So, in the Genesis version, and you notice here, there's no time limit in this stage. They give you infinite time to figure that out. That is a very tricky puzzle to get through all that. In this Genesis version, the last platforming stages are the Scrap Brain. Here, we've gone up the elevator to follow Robotnik. He's gone somewhere else He's gone elsewhere, so we're gonna follow him up there. Yes, there is a sky base zone that is not in the Genesis version at all. So we're in this place above the scrap brain that Robotnik's escaped to. And there are no checkpoints here. We got to do this in a single run. Now, if I had taken a shield into the Robotnik act... Well, actually, we do get a shield here. This is kind of maybe reminiscent of the later levels of Super Mario Bros. 3. Those levels with the tank in the dark. That's so very moody. Nice and moody here with the clouds and the lightning. So you actually have a level beyond. They're very generous to give us that shield here. And I know on the shield often, I know in my capture often it either wants to show the shield or it wants to show Sonic. It doesn't want to show them both at once for whatever reason. Okay. Okay. Yeah, but a lot of the sort of theming of Sonic the Hedgehog, especially this first game in particular, this industrialism versus conservation. You know, this industrialism versus, you know, naturalism, I guess. Well, not naturalism, I guess conservationism. The conservation of nature versus industrialism. Or we have, you know, Dr. Robotnik is turning all the forests into factories, and he's turning the forests into cities and factories. He's replacing all the animals with robots. He's actually turning the animals into robots. And that makes him such a great foil for Sonic, because, you know, Sonic's an animal, so, you know, he lives out in the wild, in nature. Oh, shucks. Lost my shield. And then he's turning the animals into robots is great thematically, because Sonic is all about individualism. You know, he just does what he feels. He's his own person. And when you think of the themes of being transformed into a robot, robots are able to be... Robots are about conformity and being able to be controlled. And Sonic's the complete opposite of that. He's kind of his... You know, he's his own person. He's, you know, a unique individual. He really probably takes a lot of value in his individualism, choosing what he wants to do, where he wants to go, how he feels about things, whereas robots can be controlled and programmed. So you have this industrialism versus conservation theme with the forests versus the factories, and then we have this theme of the animals being transformed or replaced with robots. And in that sense, we have all the Chaos Emeralds so far, and given those themes I just discussed, I feel that the ending, the ending in both the 8 and 16-bit versions, with the 16-bit version having come first. Now, this is quite the gauntlet here. As we see the skybase, what we just went through was actually the launch pad for Robotnik's airship, and as we saw it on the map, it is a kind of a cross between a Zeppelin and a pirate ship. And this is actually the first depiction of Robotnik having some kind of airship or airborne vehicle as his final base. And so we have, that was the launch pad for his airship. Now we've boarded the Zeppelin. We have these spinning propellers, which are a death hazard. We have these spinning cannons that are shooting in all directions. We have Bob-omb type enemies that when they explode, they shoot four projectiles, 2 in each direction. They're very difficult to dodge. They're spiked wall traps. Or we can jump down here and bypass all of that. Now, this is not a freebie. It's a freebie compared to what you have to do, but you do have to pay attention and per platform in a very precise manner. Now, this isn't just an Easter egg to bypass most of the stage. This is actually the only way you can collect the final Chaos Emerald and unlock the true ending, which we will see. Now, if my stream cuts out, I'm going to call it there, because I don't feel like I can't. This is the third time I've played through this game today, the first time off stream as I was practicing, and I got only up to Skybase and I stopped playing because it was time to prepare. Have I played Sonic Advance? With that great big smile on my face, I have not played Sonic Advance. I look forward to playing it for the first time on stream. Want to hear something crazy? I'm basically the equivalent of, imagine, a Super Mario fan. Loves Mario, been playing Mario his whole life. never played the NES Mario games. Never played the Super NES Mario game or any of the console 3D Mario games. I only played. I'm like a Mario fan, lifelong Mario fan who's only played the Game Boy games, Super Mario Land 1 and 2. That's how I am for Sonic. I've loved Sonic my whole life. I've only really played the handheld versions. Look at all that. Look at all those panels and lights and stuff. That is so cool. Alright, nothing left but the final boss. Dr. Robotnik himself. We fight him as the stage boss in each level, but he's the final boss as well. And this is where I got up to when I ended up losing. Now, this boss works differently than in the Game Gear version. No, but I say all that about Mario and stuff to say, imagine it's cool. I'm like a lifelong Sonic fan. I've never played the Genesis games. I played Sonic Adventure 1 at a friend's house in '99, or 2000. I played Sonic Adventure 2. I rented it on Game Gear once, and then I played Sonic Forces to my great and lasting regret. But I still have it, so I'll eventually play through the rest of the game. But yeah, so you're gonna basically get to see a lifelong Sonic fan play the games that actually made Sonic famous for the first time, and actually get, my live reactions to playing them blind. I played Sonic, yeah, it's a unique situation, because, okay, I barely made that one. At one point, the behavior of this electric barrier is going to change, and when that happens, now if I stand here, okay, I think we're halfway through the fight at this point. Now, if I'm standing to the left here, the electric ball is not going to hit me. There's a certain rhythm to... Now, when I go to the left, the electric wall is never going to activate. There's a certain rhythm. Okay. You have to watch now. This is where I got up to. And I... Go on. On, off, 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 on, off. Sorry, I have to keep saying that to keep my rhythm down. On, off. On, off, 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 on, off. Oh, that's, okay. We can't get back here, Eggman. You're not getting away from me. Okay, that's GG. That's GG. I have beaten now the home console and the home console and the handheld and home console versions of Sonic the Hedgehog. I have to reach for a prop I have. I happened to have this in arm's reach last time, but so now that we have all the Chaos Emeralds, he's going to throw the Chaos Emeralds up into the sky, and we see that the Chaos Emeralds actually cleanse the island of Robotnik's pollution. That does not happen in the Genesis version. Instead, Sonic just jumps to the camera and gives a thumbs up. And all right, now and you see the island there is actually that image of Sonic's island is what they used as the basis for when they show Sonic's world at the beginning of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. They actually used something from the 8-bit version of Sonic that only Master System players and Game Gear players knew of. The original Sonic game did not have any visual depiction of Sonic's island from an overhead view. So the creators actually went back and used this sort of more obscure version of the game as some of the basis for Yes, this is Sonic the Hedgehog on DVD, because I was just talking about how they used Sonic's island from the 8-bit version as the basis for I got this to review it because I don't really subscribe to. Now, in the tradition of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, when we beat Dr. Robotnik, whenever we beat Dr. Robotnik, we need to go to Olive Garden. So, whenever I beat a Sonic game, I switch to this cheesy screen of me standing in front of Olive Garden. A takeout only, of course, in this age of the plague. And, while the credits roll. Now, they could have made a really shoddy version. Wow, okay, they could have made a really shoddy port of the Genesis game onto the 8-bit systems. Instead, they played to the system's strengths. They didn't feel they could pull off loop-de-loops, so instead they had ramps that launched Sonic high into the air to give a sense of speed. There was only one speed shoes icon in this entire version of the game. Yeah, rearrange and original music, Yuzo Koshiro, thank you very much. Awesome remixes of and original music. And special thanks to Yoshio Y and Lunarian SG. No connection to Lunarians from my fictional universe. And presented by Sega. Now, I have this over here. Where do I have it? Yeah. Now, I actually do have the Master System controller ready to go here. And if you look at the D-pad, that square-shaped D-pad is actually a way that Sega got around the fact that Nintendo had a patent for the switch mechanism used in the traditional D-pad. So until about a decade ago, they actually never... so, let's... Yep, and... Oh, wow. I think in the Game Gear version, it restarts automatically back to the title screen. Here it just ends. So, let's go... Yeah, yeah, so... sorry, if you're spoiler-free on the Sonic movie, I spoiled you a little bit. Because... So while I play through this, I'm going to tell you about my experience with Sonic the Hedgehog. My first experience with Sonic was actually seeing the commercial for the Genesis version. My parents got me the handheld version because I was more of an on-the-go gamer. And, well, I was on the go with my mom a lot, doing auditions and stuff. And because of that, I could get more use out of the handheld version because I could use it to entertain me while I was in waiting rooms or getting my hair done. Yeah, there's a running gag throughout the movie about going to Olive Garden. It's like this weird product placement thing. And then, at the end of the movie, when they beat Robotnik, like this government agent comes to their house like, oh, thank you for beating Dr. Robotnik. I've got you a present. I've got you an Olive Garden gift card. And so I don't know how that joke's going to go over in Japan or in the UK. I don't think they have Olive Garden over there. But what we're going to do is go straight into... Gotta get the cartridge out. My palms are a little sweaty due to, the little stress of... This is the first time I've owned the cartridge for this. Lifelong Sonic fan. I never owned Sonic, the cartridge for Sonic until, did I not? Okay, there we go. There we go. This is the menu screen for the Mega SG. We're going to go down to here. And I'm going to leave the TV mode because without the... Yeah, let's change this. I just have to update my stream number. 209187X. Because this is the replacement stream for the earlier one. And we're going to run the cartridge. Now, I never got to really play this version. Now, we never got to play this version until I was going out of state for a... Wow, I mean, it's funny because let me close my blinds because it's getting late. It's getting late. There's no more sunlight coming in. Okay. Now, we went out of state to a relative's house, and when we got to the relative's house, we rented a Genesis and Sonic the Hedgehog, and I think maybe one of the very first Madden games that appeared on the... Now, I'm going to turn up the volume a little bit. Now, do you need... I don't know if... So that's really the only chance I got to really sit down and play this. I think that was in 92 or 93. When we rented the Genesis while on the out-of-state vacation. So I never got to actually play this game until it was on the Wii Virtual Console. And really the first... And even when I played it back on... Wow, I'm just getting used to... Oh, I'm getting used to these physics. Okay. Now I could grab some of my rings back. That's not in the... excuse me. This is genuinely, like, amazing graphics to me after being a lifelong player. Oh. Yeah, I'm fine. I didn't know that was in there. After being a lifelong player of the 8-bit versions and playing those versions so much frequently in the last couple of months as I dug my heels into streaming for the first time. Yeah, the water levels in the... I think in the 8-bit version are much more reasonable. Okay, now what's this here? Okay. Oh, okay, there's some more rings. Now, okay. I'm very unused to all of this. Having an on-screen scoreboard. Oh. Okay, I've got 50 rings. I know I need that to get into the special stage. I really only got to see this... I never got to really play it for myself and own it until I got it on the Virtual Console for the Wii. Wow, but those guys are huge compared to the Game Gear version. I'm just so unused to the game being so detailed. Alright, I made it into the warp. Now, in the 8-bit version, the panel starts off as a question mark, and when you spin it, for no bonus means you get Robotnik. Then you could sometimes, I think it's based on what frame you end the level on, you could get 10 extra rings or an extra Sonic, an extra credit. Or you could, and if you get an exclamation mark, if you have 50 rings or more in the first, except for in Scrap Brain and Skybase, you can warp to the special stage. And here, it always starts off with the Robotnik face, and it always turns to into the Sonic face. So it kind of symbolizes Sonic sort of supplanting Robotnik's control over that section of the zone. Whereas in this version, in the handheld version, I guess they decided, hey, we could do something fun with these panels and make it sort of a random, sort of a bonus thing. Whereas here, it's just the end of the stage, and it really you don't get different panel results based on how you played or any random elements. So, and I really haven't played this version. I haven't played this since maybe 2008. I got up to Starlight Zone. Yeah, I got up to Starlight Zone. But I really haven't played this since. So I am quasi-blind. I haven't played this since 2008, so I am quasi-blind on this, I guess you could say. But I'm fully 100% blind for Sonic 2 and Knuckles. I mean, I know there's a Death Egg, and I know that just because of the Archie comics, where they adapted the Death Egg saga into the comics. Now, what I actually heard was that in the current version of the comics, by IDW, there's a lemur character and someone else that they added to the cast of characters in addition to the game exclusive, the characters that came from the games. And they actually added those characters as unlockables temporary for a limited time in one of the Sonic mobile games that's out. And it's the first time that the characters from the comics have appeared. Any characters that are started in the comics have appeared in the games. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. I didn't get in there. So, why don't let's play through till I get a game over. And, yeah, and we'll call it there. Because I'm kind of luckier than I could be right now with, I could have gotten another, if my stream blacks out, I'm going to end the stream. I'm not going to come back. I just wanted to get... Oh, well, actually, I don't have to change which category I'm streaming under because now I'm actually streaming... Now, under the game that this is technically intended for, because the Sonic category is technically intended for the 16-bit version. But when you play... but I just streamed under that for... I'll either stream under Retro. I think I could break through this wall if I remember correctly. No, I didn't. If I can, I didn't time it right. Now I see... I'm looking at my broadcast software. I see that... Oh, maybe I can't bust through there. But unlike the 8-bit version, the way this transparency effect works doesn't mess with my capture. So you can actually see the shield rendered properly on screen. And not have that weird thing where you could either see Sonic or the shield, but never both at once. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm really, even though this is the first stage, and it's not too dangerous. Now, I did play through the first level of Sonic Mania, but I figured out very quickly that this is kind of based on nostalgia for the 16-bit version, so I really won't go back to Sonic Mania until I've, I don't know, I don't think it's for sale, right? I don't know if they're still manufacturing it. I think it was $200 or $300. I think it was $300. And the main reason I got it was for compatibility with the Genesis games. When it comes to the... I will probably get that Retron system that focuses on Game Boy and handheld stuff. I'd rather not use an emulation system, and plus Retron, as I understand it, they're using... Some of the emulators they use are actually done... or they're not licensed properly, like they were intended for non-commercial use, and they're just including them in the system. So I don't really want to endorse or support that, so maybe if I can get it secondhand... Even though there are different Retron systems that have different card adapters and cartridge slots, there's one that focuses mainly on handheld stuff, and that's really the one I'd need the most. And it wouldn't be... Oh, okay. I got lucky there. So whereas the Mega SG is playing the game in real time off of the cartridge, the Mega SG the Retron systems, including the handheld one, because I want a good way to play my handheld cartridges, but I wouldn't be playing it off the I have to... Okay, I forgot this was Act 3. Okay, so there he goes. So this is how this battle goes in the 16-bit version. And I do wish that this had the same boss theme, a 16-bit rendition of it. Ooh, but I could grab my rings back. Okay, I have no rings now, so... Yeah, the Analog Pocket... Well, I'm talking about... The reason I'm running my mouth about that Retron system that focuses on handheld games is because, hey, Kalakaboy, yeah, I came back, we beat Sonic on the Master System, and we moved on to the 16-bit original version of this game. And we're about to move on to Marble Zone, and that's one of the things that gets me. From my standpoint, I'm used to the 8-bit Sonic games, which are slower paced by necessity of the hardware, what the hardware was capable of. And then, the only Genesis Sonic game, the only 2D side-scrolling Sonic game for Genesis I've played is this one here. And so when you talk about Marble Zone, you have a very slow-paced level with an emphasis on traps and waiting for the right moment to proceed. So when I see people talking about how Sonic is all about speed... Especially people who are only familiar with sort of the 3D Sonic games, where I understand they kind of have trouble sort of figuring out how to give the sense of speed while not, while still having the game be playable and controllable and have a clear idea of what's going on. They've had different challenges in how to best express Sonic in 3D. It looked like Sonic, what was it? Sonic Ages? What was it? Sonic... Whatever the Sonic game was where there was the future and the 2D and 3D levels. The sort of the throwback game. What was it called? Sonic Generations. Yeah, that's what it was called. Yeah, Sonic Generations. You look at all these traps with these dropping spike traps. There's so much emphasis on playing slowly, and I've seen people complain about this as a mistake, and I'm like, no, this is just how the game is. It's really only these newer Sonic games, I feel, where there's this impression that Sonic's just about going as fast as you can every moment possible. So between the 8-bit Sonic games and this zone right here, I have a very, I guess, different perception of what a Sonic game can or should be. Once I actually somehow phased through the stage. Yeah. So it's so nice after playing so many times playing that 8-bit version of Sonic the Hedgehog, which was the first game I ever streamed. Moving on to a new game, I'm gonna play. I have a scheme set up. I'm gonna try it this coming week. I have to look at my my schedule and what days and what I have and when my appointments are and what work hours I'm gonna be setting out for myself. But I'm gonna do at least one 10 p.m. stream. I'm gonna do 2 daytime streams, probably around 4 or 5, and I could do 1 or 2 nighttime streams as well. So if I could do that, I could do 4 streams a week without really like putting off any responsibilities. So I'm gonna try that in this coming week because I'd like to move on to a lot of different games. I have Namco Arcade Archives on the Switch. I have the NES version of Pac-Man's going to be on there. I mean, just there's they made an 8-bit version of Sonic. No, an 8-bit Sonic. 8-bit version of Pac-Man Championship Edition. Pac-Man Championship Edition is a game I've really coveted since it came out on the Xbox 360 arcade. One of those first really big console download-only games, I feel, early on in the 360's lifespan. Now I'm going to just let it rotate clockwise here, so I can roll down. Oh no, I thought that was the path to the Chaos Emerald. Yeah, so I've really coveted Pac-Man Championship Edition for years and years. I've never had a system that was compatible, that it was available for. They made a version of Pac-Man Championship Edition on Namco Arcade Archives that was originally intended for 3DS. They ended up putting it finally on this Switch game, and in that game, it's also for PlayStation 4 as well, and I think maybe for PC as well. But they made an NES remix, an NES version of Pac-Man Championship Edition, full like NES style sprites and graphics and sound. And the awesome thing is, they didn't just make a game with NES style graphics and NES style sound. It is a full-fledged NES game that is operation that will apparently hackers have found a way to pull the ROM the files off of the NES off of the game, and the NES version of Pac-Man Championship Edition. Ooh, good thing it doesn't have spike damage logic, or else I would have definitely died right there. The NES version of Pac-Man Championship Edition that was made for Namco Arcade Archives will run on an actual NES if you were to somehow extract the files and run it on NES hardware. So it is 100% using NES, because there's some games, like Shovel Knight, for example, a fantastic game. It is like NES style, but that game, the graphics and sound will not run on an actual NES. It is more advanced than what the NES is capable of, even though it is adopting those graphics and styles, the graphics, art style, and the sounds, the music style. Whereas, yeah, you have a full-fledged NES version of Pac-Man Championship Edition. I can't wait to play that. Now, one challenge I do face, now for the actual NES games, I think I'll be able to crop it into 4:3 in my capture and have it set up like this. But when it comes down to the Pac-Man Championship Edition, which should be in widescreen, because Pac-Man Championship Edition was a 16:9 video game, I think I'm going to have problems with my layout, because I always have it laid out for... I have never made a setup that's 16:9 ready. So I'll have to figure out what to do for 16:9. I'll have to have probably a unique... Oh, shoot. A unique setup. You'll have to make a setup that's 16:9 compatible. That also doesn't block too much of the screen. Because that's the nice thing about 16:9. I could put the game screen in the corner and have all this pretty room. Okay, this is where I died last time because I was being impatient. Oh my gosh, the segments... I didn't realize that the segments of the... Am I going to actually get a game over here? Gosh. I didn't realize that the segments of the enemies still had could damage Sonic. So I'm learning, because in the... Like in this version, you actually see the animals escape the robots. Because for whatever reason, when they were translating the manual... Like in the Japanese version, in the manual, the translated manual, they say, oh, the Robotnik, or Dr. Eggman, because it is the Japanese edition, or he's always been called Eggman, it explains that he's been capturing Sonic's friends, animal friends, and trapping them inside robots. And I guess the idea is that he's using the animals as the power source for these robots. Oh my gosh. Whereas in the North American version, when they localized it, they didn't directly translate it. Instead, they localized it, and I guess the localizers decided that the idea of capturing robots... Yeah, and plus for me, I only played Wii back in the day. I only played it on a tube TV that was 4x3. So really, to play the games in the way that I remember them, I'd have to be playing them in 4x3, because I never played, and it's kind of funny because New Super Mario Bros. Wii is really kind of made for 4x3. You don't really suffer and oh my gosh, I keep forgetting that I'm so used to the 8-bit versions of this game. Now I didn't even get past. Let's give it an hour. We're gonna play. I'm gonna set my timer here. We're gonna play for an hour, or unless unless a meteor hits my house, or the power goes out, or Dr. Robotnik busts into my house and shoots me, or whatever other insane thing might happen to end my stream prematurely. Well, they're not so bad if you actually remember that these segmented enemies can damage you, because I'm not used to the idea of the enemies breaking open and the animals scurrying away. So the idea of there being remnants of the enemies I destroy remaining on screen is kind of a new idea to me. And so yeah, when they localized it, instead of saying that Robotnik's trapping the animals inside robots, they just say that he's transforming the animals into robots, which is a much simpler idea to get across. The idea that he's using the animals as the power source for the robots. It's much simpler to say that he's transforming the animals into robots. Much less explanation required. And really, for me, I guess the way my head worked as a little kid, that seemed like a much more severe threat. It was easier to understand. It was more dramatic. Because if you look at a lot of cartoons in the 80s and 90s, really, the protagonist being transformed into some kind of animal or monster or other creature is a good way to have a sense of something bad happen, or a risk of something bad happening to your protagonist without having to bring death into the equation. Because if you take like the Disney, like Pinocchio, like there's that scene that traumatized so many kids where the kids get transformed into donkeys and get sold off to farms and salt mines or wherever. That's something you could have happen that's really scary and dangerous, but it's also, or like in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there are some episodes where there's one episode where like the Rat King kidnaps April and turns her into a robot, into a rat monster, I think, and that other guy. So there are lots of cartoons and movies aimed at kids and even childhood stories where a character like in the movie adaptation of The Witches, where the kids get turned into mice and they get changed back later. That doesn't happen in the book, but where getting transformed into something is a way to have high stakes without there being mortal danger. So they really use that to great effect in Sonic Sat AM, the darker sort of take on the Sonic animated cartoon that was done in the West by Deke, where they had Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, which was more slapstick based, and then you had the version that could be marketed to slightly older kids that was more of a thriller adventure kind of, ironically more adventure themed cartoon, was the one that's just called Sonic the Hedgehog and didn't have adventures in the title. Now, in Sonic Genesis, the infamous Game Boy Advance port... No, we're not going there. No, shucks. In the infamous Game Boy Advance port of the first Sonic the Hedgehog game, we had the music was awful, but for some reason, the Genesis, the version of... They made the... For some reason, I genuinely like the way that the special stage theme sounds in the horrible Game Boy Advance port. It just sounds really nice. Now, the Game Boy Advance has better sound hardware than the games made from the ground up for Game Boy Advance tend to sound better than most most Super NES or Genesis games, but the ports from the Genesis or Super NES to the Game Boy Advance, the audio quality always suffers. Like if you listen to Mother 1+2 for the Game Boy Advance, if you look at the Mother 2 port or Earthbound for the Game Boy Advance, the sound is obviously worse than the Super Nintendo version. But then if you listen to Mother 3 for Game Boy Advance, which was made for the ground up for the GBA, the sound is obviously much higher quality. It's much better than I think the Game Boy Advance, than the Super Nintendo was able to pull off. So, excuse me, I'm burping. Ended up. Oh, God, doggone! I almost got Act 2. I always forget to go after that the ring, because I'm not used to jumping for those rings in the 16-bit version of Sonic. Yeah, I'm lucky. I don't have to. I'm not at the mercy of my viewers, Kyle, as to when I drink water. So I don't end up having to drink a bunch at once or having to wait. So of course you only do that because you choose to, because it's funny the way your viewers kind of sabotage you with the water redemptions sometimes. But oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. Okay, someone is lighting off their... Someone somehow still hasn't lit off all their fireworks. Well, it's not so bad if you're not doing, like real-time attack speed runs. Or anything like that. Oh, that nice. Yeah, there we go. See, sometimes I just kind of look like I know what I'm doing in this game. This amazing... Like, no, that was like, okay, PlayStation 5 graphics, and now we're playing on... I know, PlayStation... Like, last game we were playing was like playing on PlayStation 4, and now we're on PlayStation 5. We've gone, like, a whole generation ahead. And it's kind of interesting looking back at that, because we have those fan-made demakes, where, just for fun, fans will try to remake a game... Oh, shucks. Oh, man, that spike damage. And that eternal debate as to whether or not that is a glitch or an intended mechanic. Okay, there we go. We got rings. We're in the clear now. Yeah, and it's funny because in the pilot for Sonic, I think, is Sonic Sat AM on Amazon Prime? Because if it is, maybe I'll arrange, maybe I'll see if I could, I would actually be willing to subscribe to Amazon Prime to do a viewing party for Sonic Sat AM. I know, maybe once I have more viewers, because I don't have that many viewers yet. And because I'd have to limit myself based on my viewers, and I'd have to be limiting based on who's in the US and who has an Amazon Prime account. So that's really limiting my user base a lot. But when I open for subs, maybe when I get to like something really simple, like maybe 5 subs, I'll arrange for a commercial watching night. I know that's a really popular genre, just watching commercials from the 80s and 90s. And I'm older than some people think, and so I do have a nostalgia for a lot of those commercials, like a lot of the sort of commercials that you see on the Nostalgia Critic commercial specials. Oh! I almost... Yeah, and you have more followers than me, so... And excuse me, I didn't mean to, that sounds a little... I didn't mean to... I'm not trying to... That didn't sound the way I would like it to. The point is the practicality of, okay, how many people can I expect to be at a stream? How many of my viewers can I expect to be Amazon Prime subs and be in the US? That's really limit. So I'll probably find some public domain cartoons and make, because I have dozens of videotapes from the late 80s and early 90s, because my grandma used to record almost everything I'd watched on TV. So I have a lot of commercials I could pull from, so all I have to do is, I could just do banks of commercials, or I could do I could go ahead and make some kind of, I could get some public domain cartoons and edit them in between the commercial breaks, so it's a little more like watching TV. And do just a video watching stream, which would be a lot of fun, because we'll have old cartoons and commercials. It'd be fun to do like a Cuphead stream, where I get a bunch of, like, you know, public domain 1930s cartoons, and then play Cuphead for a while. That would be cool. Because I finally figured out how to get the browser source to work in my broadcast software. So now that I get that working, I can actually get YouTube to function. Yeah, but I do, along those lines, I have a very special plan for Thanksgiving this coming year. If the alien invasion hasn't taken place yet by November, I do, by Thanksgiving specifically, I have very special plans for my Thanksgiving stream. I won't spoil them yet, but it has something to do with commercials, but I'm going to do something I've never seen anyone do on YouTube before, and I think it's going to be really cool if I can make it work. Or if the terms of service doesn't change on Twitch and they ban commercial watching streams. Because I guess because these are like 20 or nearly 30-year-old commercials, the copyright holders really haven't cared much about stepping in to enforce those copyrights, because most of the companies, a lot of those products don't exist, or the companies that made them don't exist, and then even if they do, like, it's free advertising for the people making, like, I know free advertising isn't a legal argument, because some people will try, it's free advertising. Yeah, but that's not a legal justification. But a lot of companies may not care if people are watching their commercials deliberately on their free time. You know, a lot of companies may not actually care. Oh, I remembered to jump, but I didn't have the doggone 50 rings required to open the portal. So, alright. We have now gotten as far as we did last time. It is so funny to me playing a Sonic game where me getting at least halfway or through the game isn't almost a guarantee. That's my next stream tomorrow at 5. I will be doing Sonic again. It will be dedicated entirely to the 16-bit version. And then next week I'll be playing Namco Arcade Archives, which is 5 or 6 games unto themselves, just on their own, as well as possibly Sonic. Pending technical problems. If I have technical problems with my power, if the electrician's here, or something like that, or I can't reliably expect to be able to conduct the stream, I will cancel it. But if everything is going smoothly, I will go ahead and stream Sonic in the afternoon, and like 5. I will stream this very game we're playing now. And then next week, I don't know when, I will be playing at least I'll be doing at least 2 afternoon streams. I think I'll be doing afternoon streams of, I don't know, I'll figure it out. But I want to play our Namco Arcade Archives, probably mostly Pac-Man for now. But then I want to get into Final Fantasy VII. I haven't played that game since 2002. I already downloaded it on the Switch. I already have a setup for it, you know, with the box art and everything. So I would like to play that at least the first, like, 5 or at least through Midgar, which is like the first maybe 4 or 5 hours of the game. I haven't played the game since 2002, so I never beat the game. The furthest I've got is I got to Corel Prison, if you know what that is, in Final Fantasy VII. I haven't gotten any further than that, but at the very least, the section I have the most nostalgia for is Midgar, so I will at least be playing through that. I don't know if I could play through an entire Final Fantasy game on stream. But Paper Mario might be doable, especially if I start streaming more frequently. And there are some... okay, and my mom does watch my streams sometimes, and that would be... Earlier, midday would be more suitable for her. So I would like to be able to... because I don't live with my mom, so when the times when she shows up in stream, it's a nice way to get to hang out with her. So I would like to actually get to show her Final Fantasy VII, because she said, like, oh, I've been, all throughout your childhood, you've been playing these games, in the backseat of the car, in another room, and I never really learned much about them. And so she really enjoyed watching the streams from that standpoint. So I would like to play... there's more to talk about in explaining the lore and how the game is played in Sonic 2. So, I mean, in Final Fantasy VII. But after tomorrow, I will be laying off Sonic for at least a month, if not longer. Yeah, so I'll be laying off Sonic for an extended period of time. Oh, come on, I meant to... That was just not the results I was hoping for. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. There we go. That's more like it. I do remember I could charge through a lot of this using the invincibility. Okay. Gone as far as I can get for now. Yeah, and it's funny because in the 8-bit version, I just considered those Caterkillers, well, I think they're much cuter in the 8-bit version. Those Caterkillers don't appear until Scrap Brain. Whereas here, they're already here in the second zone. So that's interesting. Oh, if I could get to... I think I... Yes, we're at the end of the stage. So I will be... Let's see what's going on. I think... If I could get through Act 3. If I could at least get to... What's the third act? I think it's Spring Yard Zone? Is the third zone in this version of the game? If I could at least get there, I'd be pretty happy. Yeah, the look at that. That's nowhere near as adorable. They have such cute little faces in the 8-bit version, and now they're just... I mean, they're cute here, too. They're rather adorable for a killer enemy robot. But it is not quite... I forgot how the Robotnik fight even goes. How the Robotnik fight works. Okay, good. I was worried I was going to fall into some lava for a moment. Hit the switch and drop down. Okay, I can't get that. There's a shield up there and I can't get to it now. I'm going to wait till you're crawling back the other way. I love how when he hits the wall and he actually gradually sort of crawls his little segments as he turns back the other way. I mean... Oh, when you hit him from behind, his spikes get you. Okay. I'm learning how because I think in the 8-bit version, you could hit him from in front or behind. So, I'm learning how this version of Sonic differs from the 8-bit versions. You know, this marble zone here, this is actually my first exposure to the idea of marble. And I might explain, it's like, oh, it's like a hard stone that's used for building. And so they called it that because of these columns and pediments. I mean, how could you still have fireworks left at this point? I do not understand. And this is not one of those states where, like, in some states, like in New York, a lot of really larger fireworks are banned. You basically just have glorified firecrackers. Whereas here, they have freaking rockets and stuff. And it's like how could you... I mean... I'm for more freedom, generally, as opposed to restricting it, but some of these types of fireworks, I'm impressed that you don't need to have some kind of pyrotechnic engineer's license in order to handle and light these things. I mean, they're freaking explosives, I mean, geez. But, so we reap the benefits of getting pretty not so bad fireworks for something you could buy at at Costco or something like that, or Walmart. But the downside is that if you're not into the fireworks, or once you're done looking at the fireworks, you just have to hear that for the whole week before the 4th and the whole week after, everyone lighting off their crazy rockets and Roman candles and stuff. One thing I did think was crazy, in Costco, I saw some... Ooh, that was close. I saw some fireworks, and they had cartoon animals on the mortar packaging. And I'm just like, how could you put cartoon animals on the packaging of explosives? Like I said, I'm more in favor of not regulating things like that, but as if I was a fireworks manufacturer, yeah, they could have decorations and have them themed. There's one firework I saw called Walking Zombie. One was called, like, Escape from behind enemy lines or something like that. So you can have theming and characters, but to put, like, really kiddie-looking cartoon animals on explosives, I really don't feel like that's especially responsible. But then again, I don't own a recreational pyrotechnics manufacturing company, so that's not my... I'm not going to talk too much about that, because I don't know what it's like to run that sort of a company. Alright, so one way or another, in 40 minutes, we're going to call it and see who's around that I could give the honor of a raid to. But oh man, it is so convenient being able to grab your rings back, which you cannot do in the 8-bit versions. Well, in the 8-bit versions of Sonic 1, you cannot grab your rings back. Starting in the second Sonic game, they figured out, I guess they didn't feel confident having that many moving objects on screen. So Sonic doesn't drop the rings, you just see it like fade through him and you lose, and you just lose all of the rings you have regardless of how many. But in Sonic 2, from Sonic 2 onward, all of the... Okay, we're actually... Oh, we only have one ring, doggone it. But it looks like we're gonna get to Robotnik. If we beat Robotnik here, I will call the stream once we get the game over. Okay. I think we're almost up to the boss. I don't know how this works. Oh. Ooh! Okay. Okay, I forgot the, like, gimmick as to how you have to fight him here. Okay, that's really kind of dangerous. And the fireballs only come up so far. Oh, very fast pace compared to... Oh man, imagine getting that last hit on Robotnik and then falling into the lava. That would stink. I'm sure it's happened. Or getting hit by that last fireball. So we've made it at least to the third zone, so... And let me think. Okay. Spring, jungle. There are 4 more zones, I think. And so this is something this is totally really kinda. Now we have a city scene here. Yeah, we have a city scene here. Is that just for decoration? Yeah, you have the city scene here, whereas that seems a little less industrial and ominous. It seems like actual normal people may or may not live here. Whereas in the Game Gear, I think the cool thing about... Well, we have the city level here, which is neat. Now, cope. I wonder what that means. I wonder if it stands for... You have some of the... Okay. Now, I'm really going to proceed cautiously because I'm not really quite sure what to expect. I know you can get squished in between these moving cylinders. Or... What was that? What was that? That came back at me. That was weird. Alright. Whoa! Oh my gosh, I thought I landed on him in a ball formation so that I could deal damage to him, but apparently not. That almost looked like a fake Sonic for a second. Ooh, that was a close call there. Alright, what's this? Something about the way that those spiked balls, or those mines... No, there's spiked ball... Those spiked hazards are shaded. Reminds me of something that should be in a DOS game. I don't know what exactly it is, but... Yeah, I remember not knowing what those lamppost things were for. Because in the Game Gear version of this, you had boxes with a down-pointing arrow that served as your checkpoints. Here you have those lamppost things that you spin. So... Yeah, okay. Oh wow, look at that! Those guys are in Those guys are actually in... You meet those guys in Bridge Zone. These guys here. Oh, he went away. He, like, despawned. Okay. CPU. Oh, I guess Cope is some kind of... Probably some kind of Easter egg if you know something about... I don't know if it's some chip or process. Oh my gosh, this is tough. This is a tough little trap right here. Ooh, wow. Give you really extreme height. To the point where I've nearly parallaxed the buildings out of existence. Now, if you're, not... Into the, yeah, I'm... This is quasi-blind. Oh my gosh. Quasi-blind playthrough here. Or... Because I haven't really played this since... I haven't gotten this far in Sonic since 2008. I really haven't played the Genesis version of Sonic since 2008. Okay. There we go. Yeah. These guys were in Bridge Zone in the 8-bit version. Here they're in Spring Yard. It's kind of interesting to see where they adapted some of these enemies to be useful in the game at different points, because there is no Bridge Zone. Well, when they're making the 8-bit version, there's no Spring Yard, so it's like, okay, why are we going to use this great enemy? Those flashing things bother me, because I keep wanting to feel like... Like there should be platforms that I should be able to jump onto. Alright. Let's see how... Okay. Woo! That was fun. Oh, come on. I meant to land on him because I saw that he was sitting there waiting for me. Gotta get the momentum. Oh, there are two of them here. Okay. That looks like it should be a solid object. It bothers me a lot. There we go. Oh, doggone. Oh, this spring could bounce me high enough that I don't need to redo... Oh, I think I almost died there, actually. You know, why doesn't the crab meat enemy have a crab inside it? Instead it has, like, a rooster. That's interesting. I never really thought about how the animals don't really correlate to the robots that they get trapped inside. Alright. I'm not gonna go ahead and try to get that shield I saw down there. Oh. Gonna wait till that goes to the left. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I know it sounds probably simple, but I really am rather impressed with this animation after being so used to the 8-bit version. The fantastic 8-bit version that I still like more than this one. I don't know if it's a better game or not, but once I beat this, then I can objectively say whether or not it's a better game. I don't know if I should... Okay. I don't know if I should... Okay, we're making progress. There we go. Oh, I was just shy of 50. But if I loiter around on the score on the end screen a bit, I can rack up some extra points. I'm not sure exactly what triggers me to get those points, but... Alright. Wow, are we going to actually make it to Labyrinth Zone? I actually don't even remember if Labyrinth is the stage which follows... There we go. Because I don't even have any rings yet. There we go. Rings. Got 10 rings. Oh, shucks. Lost my shield that quick due to carelessness. And we can't access a special stage here because the Robotnik fight doesn't give you the opportunity to run through a ring portal. I don't know. I know I'm as much of a Sonic fan as I am. Like, I probably enjoy as a game Sonic the Hedgehog, the Game Gear version of Sonic, more than Super Mario World. But when it comes to this game, like, I enjoy an 8-bit Sonic more than Super Mario World, but between this and Super Mario World, when I'm playing now in Super Mario World, I really do feel like Super Mario World is the better game. Or the game I'd rather play. The game I'd rather play, because, I mean, Super Mario World, it is a better game than Sonic on Game Gear or Master System. But I feel like, I'd rather play Super Mario World than this version of Sonic the Hedgehog, even though I just find it funner. The fact that you can save your progress probably helps a lot. But, okay, only 7 rings. Are we almost up to egg? No, okay. Woo! Woo! There we go. We have those brief moments where Sonic's running faster than the screen can keep up with. I'm going to use that as the basis alone to try to depict the Super Nintendo as being underpowered. Yeah, that's really... And it's funny because in the first level of the 8-bit Sonic, you do encounter a part where, in the first level, where you can get both a speed shoes icon and an invincibility icon, which, you know, having super speed and invincibility is kind of the closest thing you could get to maybe being supersonic in this game. But there they put those two icons right next to each other. The timing just isn't lining up for me to make that jump fairly, because I'm making the jump fairly, it's just that the timing is off for the platform. Okay, there we go. Just gotta wait till their cycles coincided. Okay. I have 50 rings, not that that matters in terms of getting to the special stage. Oh, come on. Ooh. Oh, please, I don't want to... Oh, no. I'm getting beaten up by all these darn spikes. Alright. That's more like it. I'm guessing I have to go down. Now, I like that in the background. I'm pointing to it like you'd see it. You can't. There's... right above Sonic, on the background of that building, there's a water tower on top of the building, which is something you'd see a lot of in New York. I don't know if other cities really have a lot of those. But what that is, they keep all the water for the building up in that tank so that it could be distributed throughout the building via gravity. So that's one cool. I think they have to be replaced every 20 years, the wooden tanks. But they keep the water. They keep the water warm in the. They keep it warm in the winter and cold. They keep it warm in the winter and cold in the summer because of the insulating effect of the wood. So they really haven't changed much in how they look, even though they've been in use for like 120 years or something like that at this point. I don't know. It's a Clackaboy. It says that I have 0 dropped frames in the last hour. Not a single drop frame all stream. So I can't say what's going on with that. I'll look back at my VOD, because I record to my computer as I'm streaming, and my recording to the PC will be perfect. It'll be exactly what the camera is catching and what my capture card is catching. Whereas the stream that is on Twitch, on the VOD, will actually show what the viewers saw. So I'm going to go back and look at that and see if that's something that I need to go back and... Oh, wow, we're up to Robotnik. We're going to get at least to the 3rd act today. I don't know what he's going to try to do. I don't know what his gimmick is this time. Oh. He's going to try to throw... Oh, I see. It's going to get harder and harder to attack him. Oh no! That's the one thing I always feared. Beating Robotnik. Oh, I didn't realize that was going to be a bottomless pit. I didn't realize I only have 1 life left. I don't know if it gives you like a life 0 or that's just how many lives you have left. Or yeah, I don't know if you give you a life 0. This may be my last chance to get past Spring Yard Zone today, and if I get a game over here, I'm going to call the stream. I'm going to get a game over. Once I get the game over, I will call the stream. Oh, I don't have any rings. I want to go back, see if I can collect. Oh, no. Yeah, I don't think there's anything down there to protect me. You know what? YOLO. We're going for it. We're going for it. If I don't... As long as I'm not... Well, I beat him last time. I beat him. I can do this. I know for a fact I can do this. I just had bad luck. Well, bad luck, more like I wasn't careful enough. Okay. There we go. So we got at least, I don't know, I don't remember what act is next. I think it's Labyrinth? Or something, I don't know, but we'll see. And when we get the game, we'll see how far we can play, and once we get the game over, I will go ahead and call the stream. Okay, it is Labyrinth. And with a very, compared to the Game Gear version, the 8-bit version has very different music, much more energetic music, I think much more kind of scary or music that indicates more of a challenge. Whereas here we have a very laid-back kind of theme. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's a cool theme, but it's not what I think... it is so not what I think of as Labyrinth Zone music. Alright. Come on. Yep. Thank you for the... Wow, they put these 2 air bubbles right next to each other. Now, this is... I'm totally... I really don't remember anything about how to get through here or what I can expect to find. It seems like the air bubbles certainly spawn more reliably in... No, no, no. Okay. Come on, air bubble. There we go. Oh, I have to hit that switch up there? Or do I have to hit this switch? Okay, that... I need to get up there. Okay. That's more like it. No, what's down? Oh, wow. Okay, they didn't have any sections like that in the 8-bit version. Probably would have made the Game Gear explode. Alright. There we go. And just keep on moving through the stage. Woo, that's fast. That's scary. Oh, no. Well, at least there's an air bubble right here. Ah. You know, it's not an air bubble, but grabbing rings is as good as an air bubble. Okay. Oh, this is new. So this wasn't in the 8-bit version. Oh, no! I had 3 rings! Why did it kill me instantly? Alright. I was so enamored by this conveyor belt pulley thing that I ended up losing. So I'll be back tomorrow at 5. And at 5, well, when we get to 5 o'clock, I'm going to go ahead... Well, tomorrow at 5, I'm just going to be streaming Sonic. We're not going to touch the 8-bit version of Sonic anymore. What we're going to do is... well, tomorrow, I'll... Yeah, tomorrow I'll go ahead and I'll see how far we get in the 60-bit version of Sonic. I don't expect to beat it, but it'll be just a fun, 2 to 4 hours of just actually playing Sonic. And we'll see how far we get, and if I don't beat it, I'm just going to put Sonic down for a long time. We're going to probably come back with Namco Arcade Archives, in particular. A lot of Pac-Man probably I'll be playing in particular, and Quinty. The first Game Freak game before they made Pokemon in the early 90s. They made a game called Quinty for the Famicom. It was localized in the US as Mandel Palace. We'll probably play that as well. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for some more Sonic, and thanks for watching. Now,